Hey guys, D.Bowie here, and these are things I learned with Sumail's Queen of Pain. I'm a Queen of Pain lover myself, probably one of my most played heroes ever, and since Invoker became popular, I have always struggled to make the hero work. The new changes to the hero, especially Blade Mail not life-stealing, made me consider the hero completely useless again, yet Sumail had amazing performances with the hero at Kiev. I was actually very surprised and curious on whether he was doing something different, or sheer talent was the answer to his performance. It's actually a combination of both. One thing I noticed is that a lot of players are very keen on using the dagger right at the beginning of the lane, since Cop is considered an aggressive hero. But look how he waits until Invoker goes lightly to the stairs to not reveal his high ground ward. A lot of players, when they think about high ground wards in the mid lane, they think only about safety for ganks and maybe the possibility of landing their nukes easier. But that's far from what you can achieve with them. In this first wave, Sumail's block was better than Invoker's. The vision that he gets from Invoker is pretty good to know when he's trying to actually throw his attacks. Since he and Invoker have similar base damage at level 1, but Quap has worse attack animation, he also wants to be sure to stand close to the creeps so that he uses that advantage to less hit better. A lot of people think that Quap has good attack animation, but she actually has good projectile speed. Anyways, going back to the benefits of the ward, with the vision from Invoker he can draw aggro to less hit further away from him, like he does here. Great use of the ward and abusing Invoker's weaknesses, the projectile speed. Again, we see him drawing aggro, even though most people will try to less hit normally. Invoker can less hit for double of what you attack, but if you can drag the creeps away from him, you can increase your CS against him. Sumail keeps playing very aggressive, and I love how he makes sure to deny the range creeps here. This is super valuable even if you take 1 or 2 towers hits. Even though the ward really helped in the beginning, she was placed in a very common spot, and in high MMR games you can be sure that the enemy mid will notice that you're drawing aggro when you shouldn't be able to. Another thing worth being mentioned is that I see a lot of cops that just run up the high ground and try to use dagger on the enemy. Or even worse, just blink, use dagger, then run away and take a lot of harass as they try to disengage after the blink. The right way to use dagger most of the time is punishing your enemy going for less hits or trying to draw aggro. This is why you get level 2 dagger as well, since it increases the range, allowing you an easier time doing it. Since I talk about blinking in aggressive with dagger, this is a good example on how to do it. When your creeps are marching towards the enemy tower, Invoker has 2 options. Use his Qs on you, but take your harass and your creeps harass, or just disengage. I want to emphasize how most of the time, when he wants a last hit, he doesn't right click from max range, he stays closer. Eventually, Sand King comes in with a rotation and I want to talk about it. One of the key mistakes a lot of CoP players do in situations like this, and that is understandable to be honest, they just blink with max range. In theory, if the enemy is retreating, blinking ahead of him gives you more time to attack them and thus kill them. Yet look how Sumail blinks, right at the beginning of the stairs, just far away enough to land Scream of Pain. Sumail decided to stay there instead of disengaging. Let's take a look on the possibilities here. If he disengages, probably Invoker and Sumail would use the Shrine and go back to the lane. If he stays there, it's very likely that he kills Invoker, but dies afterwards. He's not taking tower hits, he has magic one, so that's pretty certain. The thing is, Invoker is a hero that depends on item timings way more than Queen of Pain. Sumail also has a hard time killing Invoker without sinking there. He most likely will only have the chance of killing him at level 6. Not only that, but he dies only after killing Invoker, so it was definitely a decent trade. I also want to talk about his item build. It's very uncommon to see a mid hero doing well at 5 minutes into the game and not have boots. This style of Queen of Pain is the reason I feel like he has so much success with the hero. It's all about blinking in and using that early advantage and those 400 gold that will be spent on boots in actual items and stats to completely zone the enemy. Think of your blink dagger as boots until the 5-minute mark. Again, we see him blinking in aggressively, but look at the creep wave. When he finished casting all spells, the last creep is about to die, and this means that it's not a favorable trade for Invoker to trade alone against him. Another way to aggressively engage with blink is when your enemy is kind of afraid and the creep wave is closer to your tower, allowing you to blink in and trade hits without drawing aggro from no one. This can be less beneficial since you don't have the threat of your creeps attacking him, but in this case Sand King was lingering around and they force a TP reaction. So in the end you can see that he ends up buying boots at pretty much 7 minutes into the game. This Queen of Pain build is all about getting every CS with your right clicks, allowing you to have less dependency on your bottle early on and having the power to make trades your opponents don't really expect or are not ready to actually withstand. When most mids go for this rotation right here, looking for the bounty room, you would expect them to farm the camps around that area in an attempt to make up for the time and the lane creeps they lose. The thing about Cop though is that her spells are not made for farming. Scream of Pain is okay, but losing kill potential for this amount of farm is just not good enough. You can see that even though Sumail had the time to maybe stack a camp, he doesn't even bother because it's a waste of his time, but most importantly, a waste of his resources. Eventually Jakiro shows up, and look at Sumail's reactions. Again we see him jumping to the very edge of the Radiance ramp using his skills and basically right clicking, but they didn't account for the monkey and ghost wall. Look how aggressively Sumail plays from now on. As you can see, he doesn't learn Sonic Wave this game because the damage to mana ratio coming from his third skill is way better. Also, he doesn't go for treads, so he has less mana. He stays around waiting for another blink cooldown and he gets juked by Monkey King. He would have that kill right at the spot if he had boots on his inventory, but someone was using the courier. Since he blinked away from the tower aggro range, he keeps trying to close the gap on Monkey King, but he is getting slowed by Ghostwalk. Eventually, when he tries to disengage, Sumail doesn't give up, since he almost have mana for another blink, and look how he quickly understands he can't take too many tower hits and already de-aggroes the tower as soon as he leaves the fog. This time, instead of blinking in front of Monkey King, he already jumps to the high ground, which is way safer. Kind of a messy fight, but considering his situation, I'm actually impressed he ended up killing Monkey King there without dying. Sumail keeps doing out of the box plays. After finding an arcane rune like that, most players will TP back to base or walk back to base and try to use the arcane rune to fight later. Instead, he uses the arcane rune to reduce the TP cooldown in case something happens elsewhere, and he regens as fast and efficiently as possible to try to still use the arcane rune duration to get another kill. Considering his build has no Sonic Wave, he has a lot of kill potential at this stage of the game, especially with arcane rune. Unfortunately though, he knows Monkey King was around the area and he just blinks into harass since he has reduced mana costs and cooldowns, but a fight starts developing in the bottom lane and he rotates. Pay attention how he doesn't use blink to get there earlier. With level 1 blink, you really need to be careful with how you use it, and blinking in the enemy jungle is asking to jump on top of a centaur and be mutilated. He ends up blinking too soon I guess and taking too long to dagger Monkey King, but he keeps going and finds a beautiful angle to maybe hit 3 heroes since Monkey King jumped around that area. His right clicks her a lot and he ends up getting a triple kill. By the way, this is the second clarity that Sumail fares to himself, and every time he shrines or goes to the fountain, he's super efficient with backpack usage. As he goes back to the mid lane, I want you to see how Sumail approaches the usage of Veil. A lot of people feel like the item is underwhelming because you don't have a magic based ult. The thing about how Sumail uses Veil is being able to get the item while you're still in a somewhat laning phase stage. Since as a Queen of Pain you're more often than not roaming and fighting, the enemy tower will likely not fall early and thus the creep equilibrium will still be normal. He just walks up to Invoker, uses Dagger, and before the projectile lands he uses Veil and Scream. What he does now is give the enemy mid two choices. He either completely disengages, or when the cooldown of both skills are ready, he has a big chance of dying. He waits for Invoker to draw aggro and retreat, to jump outside of tower range, and without raindrops and ghost walk, Invoker would be dead. So the trick here is not jumping in using all your spells at once, but use Veil and Scream by walking to the enemy instead, or just abusing when he tries to draw aggro and get a last hit. To be sure that you can use both skills again, because I mean the blink cooldown at this stage is what really hinders your kill potential, so you don't want to use it ASAP, you know? Especially because if you can blink in and instantly eliminate someone, whatever rotation that might come is going to be one hero and then the next TP is gonna take longer, etc. But if you blink in and you need to like solo kill that hero and there's another TP coming, the chance of you dying is way bigger, you know? But if you only use the blink when you're sure you can kill someone, it's very unlikely that you will die even though you blinked in an aggressive area. Well, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please guys give it a thumbs up. If you want to see the extended version of this video, please check the link in the description. Pugna is a platform where you can learn from people like Chessie, Fog, Monib and get better at the game. They have now great content on new patch, and if you want to raise your MMR, it's a great time. Just figure out the patch faster than others others and get those easy wins. And if winning MMR is not enough for you, you should definitely check out our new partner, Loot Case. There you can win and find beautiful cosmetics and go from 0 to hero. They give you a bonus on whatever deposit you make, and if you join with my referral link, you're gonna get a better bonus, so definitely check that out.